long history. We got all kinds of good friends here today. It's been a long time for some of you guys. Have been in here. It's a pleasure to have you, please. Well, come on, all these black belts. Come up here. All black belts. Oh, black belts might outnumber the lower belts today. So guys, we're here today. I was thinking of a story this morning. A long time ago, when my brother and I were children, we were living in this crappy place in New Orleans, and I used to fight my brother for money. Meaning, I wouldn't fight him. I'd actually challenge kids in the neighborhood to fight my brother for money. And this one day, these two young boys from the other side came. They had penny loafers on. They had their school uniforms, top button, tie button. And I tell this young kid, I said, man, you can't beat my brother. You can't beat this kid. I got $1 that says. Well, before I know it, the kid jumped up, he twirled, he lifted one knee, and kicked my brother across the face and knocked him flat on the ground, and I lost $1. And that's my story. And today, I think you're ready for that kid again.
Yes.
And we got him out back. We've got a lot of people here, especially in this line right here. I'd prefer, if we can, I'd like everybody to say something on this line that's got a black belt. I think everybody's got a story with Dave. Before I go, all serious, or all kidding aside, a true martial artist. This kid travels all around the world. He never tells anybody. He never takes profile pictures with him. He's been everywhere from top to bottom, in the country, out of the country. And I'm really honored today. This isn't for me. This is for everyone on this panel and on that side. I think especially in times we're all facing right now, it's important to have such a strong community. And I truly love and appreciate all these people in here. Still don't know how to tie the belt at this age. But all these people on the wall on both sides, you're some of the closest people to me. I don't hang out with you out at the gym sometimes, but man, if I need to call somebody, I know who I'm calling. Please, Gary, if you start, say something about this kid.
This is sweet. I mean, if you think about it, you know, my background very diverse, trained under a lot of awesome, just wonderful people. But the one thing I can say about Dave, his influence on me was since day one. Whenever I got on the mat with him, and ever since, this guy fought with character. I tell you what, there was never a mean bone in his body. He gave as good as he got and sometimes more. But I follow your lead when it comes to how to act as a BJJ practitioner, especially as a black belt. Who I am today is so much. Your blood runs in my blood, and all I can do is just say, God bless him. Thank you, brother. I owe you a lot.
Guys, I've known David and Dean Grant both for many years. I had a jiu-jitsu school down here that I inherited from my father for a lot of years. Originally, when Brazilian BJJ came to Jacksonville, it came to our school in the form of Hoist Gracie, Larry Sheely, and then eventually into Victor Huber and his guys. Dean and David both were very active in the BJJ and in the Kodokan Jiu-Jitsu, which is more of an MMA style, back 20 years ago. And I actually came up in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ranks training with David and Dean. They were two of my primary training partners in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I have nothing but accolades for both of you. You guys, I respect both of you and your abilities in the martial arts great.
How you doing, guys? I'm Donnie Avera, previous owner of Gracie Fernandina for years. I've since then gave it to one of my students to run. I do a lot of traveling. I met these guys, no disrespect, under one of the best instructors in the world, Lionel Perez, is where I met these guys at. I want to say Dean may have been a blue belt at the time when I met him. I had trained for years. I was a white belt. I was ejected out of a car, lost 4 years of training. I came in, some of y'all say I'm strong. I used to be really strong then. So I didn't have no technique, it was just all strength. And Dave and Dean were the ones I would try to smash the most because they were so small and I couldn't control them. So I love these guys like my brothers, always have. I've kept up with them. Dean, he's around a little more than Dave is. He's always traveling, just travels the world. But guys, I can't think of a better person to get this like that today. And I love you guys like brothers. Appreciate you having me in today.
I'm Matt Lumley. I used to train here quite a bit. Most everybody here knows me. A couple faces are new to me. I've known Dean and Dave since I was like 15. So we're going on 16, 17 years now, which is depressing sometimes. But I knew them when they were white belts, and and have seen them both come up and really expand their games, and they have very similar games. I always call them like the East Coast Diaz brothers. They're kind of deceptive in their style. It's silky smooth. There's not a whole lot of forward aggression. It's which is good. I mean, jiu-jitsu is about countering people and using their aggression against them. Dave is super good at that. He's super scrappy. He's super nice, and I don't think that should fool you though. He can be mean on the mat. He was mean to me a couple times back in the day. We used to go at it pretty hard. So this is long overdue, and it's super awesome to see. Love you guys, man. Congrats, Dave.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I think I met these guys. My name's Bob Lionel Weber. I used to train here quite a bit. I actually started in here with these guys. I think I met them both at Alex Limbaugh's class. You guys came in there a little bit, and then I was going to Lionel's a little bit, and then we ended up with Victor, and that's where we trained quite a bit. I really didn't know David that well. At first, I knew Dean. As I got to know David, it's interesting how you can have two brothers that are very similar, but yet different. Not only personalities, but their jiu-jitsu style. And Dean was always surging ahead of us. I think Dean and I were blue belts or purple belts at the same time, and then he took off, and then Dave and I might have been at the same stage for a while, and I always thought I could catch Dave or do better with Dave, and that ended quickly. And as long as I have known them, you know, we were at Victor's for a good while, and then we started this place. They've never been content. They've always wanted to learn, challenge themselves, and Dave especially, he was taking MMA fights when he was really young, and that was inspiring to all of us. And like Dean said, he doesn't post a lot, you don't know what he does, but he travels around, he challenges himself, he's always learning. And I think when he went away, most of you didn't know he went away, not to prison, but to junior college, and he wrestled for 2 years in junior college, and that changed his whole jiu-jitsu game. He became this wrestling hybrid jiu-jitsu guy, and it's made him super amazing, and I think the belt is long overdue, and it is truly an honor and a privilege to be here with you both. So congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, I'm not too big on speeches, but I've known most of these guys here almost 25 years. I started my judo club. That's why people call me Judo John. A long time ago at Sportsplex, and I bounced around to Kernan, to a couple of places I own over on Mayport Road. Dean was kind enough to take me in at one point, and you know, I've come to appreciate his friendship and David's friendship. And I used to think of BJJ when I first saw it back in the day, 20 years ago. That looks just like judo, it looks a little uglier. But you know, I'm really appreciative of the art, and I'm really appreciative of David, who's well-deserved black belt, and David and Dean of taking me in and teaching me so much. Forward and onward. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And I was fortunate enough to come over here with John when Dean took us in, and I've been under Dean for a few years now. And I don't know Dave nearly as well as I would like to, but I can say that every time he's graced us with his presence in here, he has epitomized everything I've ever been taught, which was at the heart of BJJ and Judo, which is the mutual benefit and welfare of our students. Every time he comes in here, regardless of who he rolls with, he's always making people better than they were when they came in. It's been an honor and a privilege to share a mat with you, and I look forward to seeing you more.
Guys, Charlie Matthews. As y'all can tell, I've been around a little while. I started my BJJ career training with Dave and Dean on Caravan Trail. Goes back pretty far. I'll never forget his cavalier attitude. He's just surfer boy, rice paddies, pulling up with a rice paddy and his gi on his bicycle. Those images are burned into my brain forever. Him stepping up and handing the guy that defeated me in a submission thing his first loss just because he was picking on his BJJ brother, Charlie. All these things are burned into my memory. They will never go away. It's about time. And congratulations, sir. I'm honored to be here. Yeah, oh geez. Man,
I don't even know where to begin. You know, the goal was to have been a black belt at 25. I'm 9 years late. You know, started at 19, and you know, somewhere along the way, you just kind of realize it's like, you know, the lessons you take off the mat and kind of the character you build, meeting people, you know, coming in, seeing people win, seeing people lose. You know, it's like at some point, you know, the black belt, I realized wasn't the goal at all. You know, and it's like, it's all a mentality. You know, it's like, it's a maturity, it's an outlook on life. You know, it's, you're not going to win every day. It never gets easy. You know, it's not who taps or doesn't tap. It's who drills the technique, you know, gets the most out of their time on the mat. I can't even thank everybody in here, everybody up front. I've known 10 plus years, everybody out there for a shorter time. You know, it's like I've learned lessons from you all. You know, it's like I owe you as much as everybody else. You know, just the little things, the comments, you know, the days where it's not working and someone says good job, or you know, compliments your technique in a class. I don't even know where to begin thanking you all, but my brother most of all. You know, I got into this at 19, just a, you know, punk asshole kid. You know, if I would have done anything he'd done, you know, if he had dedicated himself to drinking in bars or drugs and alcohol, you know, it's like I would have easily fallen into that and pursued it with just as much passion. So, brother, thank you so much for setting a good example. And you know, there's nobody I'm prouder to have received my black belt from than you. You know, I've traveled to every school in the world, and you know, I've seen, you know, the example I've taken from you has outshined everybody. So thank you so much. You know, I'll wear this. I'll defend it with my life. Thank you all. Let's all give Dave a bow, right? 3, 2, 1. Hold up, guys. Let's shake everybody's hand. Don't worry about the coat. If you're weird about germs, don't shake people's hand. Kiss them.
You're always part of my history.
So, yeah,
We got that same game. I will never forget the early days of Thank you so much for being here. Great seeing you. Great seeing you. Johnny's catch up. Thanks so much for coming here today. Catch up with you soon. I get straight away. I go with a long time.
All right, guys, keep rolling. Get your rounds in. We got another 45 or so. Have fun. Don't get hurt, please. Thank you, man. I sure appreciate it. Nice to see you again. Thank you so much for being here. Gold wire in my arm.
Maybe how do you think you get the rolls in?
Oh, no. I just saved all the world.